Reading the news is not fun. That's going to be especially true for at least the next 4 years, but this phenomenon is also a result of the times we live in. Advanced communication technologies like the internet mean that there is just a greater access to news than at any other point in human history. As it becomes increasingly harder for traditional news media to stay afloat, they turn to the sensationalized negative headlines that bring in profits. And that's partly our fault, because who really wants to read something like this? But whatever the reason for this phenomena is, it doesn't change the fact that this level of negative news is just bad for our mental health. It's not normal for a person to see a video of some tragedy or massacre every few days. I don't need to explain why people feel uncomfortable when they see broadcasts of natural disasters, or why incessant stories about plane crashes exacerbates my mom's fear of flying. In fact, I think stories like these may be the reason my family spent a full day driving to and from Phoenix over winter break. And there has been a measured impact on people's psychological well-being as a result of this. Countless studies have shown that watching negative news broadcasts amplifies anxieties, including personal concerns completely unrelated to the news item. Watching a story about a terrorist attack has been known to make people feel more anxious about their work or finances. So what do we do about all this? You can't just turn off the news. Never mind the dangers of being uninformed. It's simply impossible to escape the news cycle as it permeates our social media feeds and inevitably comes up in conversation with others. I think the best option is to take in good news along with the bad. Positive news stories don't come up that much because they don't incite the visceral reaction that brings news companies clicks and money. But I suppose we can make an attempt to fight that right here. Get some professionalism points. Hello everyone, welcome to the Sid News Network, the news station that covers the uplifting stories that other networks miss. First on the list for today we have a jobs report. Although it's been generally believed that we can't protect the environment and the economy at the same time, the renewable energy industry created 2 million jobs last year. In the US, this completely offsets jobs lost by the coal and oil industries. In other news, 42-year-old Sean Thomas was recently released from prison after it was found that he was wrongfully convicted of murder. His first act was reportedly going out for dinner with his fiancée and using a smartphone for the first time. On a more global scale, Taiwan's highest court recently ruled that the government must recognize gay marriage. This means that within the next 2 years, gay marriage will be legal in Taiwan, and it's only a matter of time before it spreads throughout the rest of Asia. And before we go today, the appropriately named Japanese IT company Furei has been using office cats to de-stress workers. The felines have resulted in a measurable productivity boost and could be seen in workplaces around the world. News media exists so that we can keep track of the rapidly changing world we live in, but there's one thing that's always constant. Almost every day, less people live in poverty than the day before, less people die from infectious disease, and less people are killed by violence. I'm not saying that we should erase all bad news from existence, and I'm not saying that positive news will magically make everyone happy. But every day the world gets a little bit better, and I think it would make a lot of people a little bit happier if we acknowledge that more.